that carcass, those chosen ones that were killed off, these are the true ones that were faithful. They did not go prostitute themselves with the United Nations as the current governing body does and as the past one did during the 90s. They're faithful in that sense. As Jesus says, as the angel says to John, these did not commit fornication. They're discreet. They're discreet in their work, the work that they have to do. Going to the congregation, speaking to the elders. Don't give out your name. Don't say who you are, but go. Like the Spirit sends them, and they go, and they give witness as to what the organization is doing that is wrong before the eyes of their God, Jehovah. Slaves. They're slaves to the Spirit. They cannot earn a good living because they are slaves to the Spirit, because Jehovah has them focused for now at sending out messages repeatedly to you brothers, to you friends, to those that are there, to those that are being nudged and pulled and impelled that what's going on, something is not right. You may have expelled us, you may have done wrong against us, but we forgive you. But one thing is for certain, Jehovah God's Spirit is urging you to get out, urging you to think. The organization has been compromised. And the villain, even though he says he's for Christ, he is anti-Christ. And he's hiding in plain sight. He's there. Just as this says. That was, but is not, and yet is present. They have built their little kingdom. And they've convinced many who are in higher ranks that are kings who will probably stay with them. They'll be there with that kingdom because they've been promised all these things in big meetings between elders and those representatives of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Authority. They've been promised all these things. But they're going to meet their end when Jehovah God does away with him, when Jesus does away with him, as he reveals himself. And you sons who are there, you sons who profess to be of the anointed, you should know better. You should know better than to let men be leaders over your faith. A governing body that says they are the faithful and discreet slave. They are not the carcass. They consider themselves alive spiritually. We are the carcass. We're dead in their eyes. We're the two on the Broadway. Because we were killed there, in a spiritual sense. If you truly have Jehovah's Spirit, and you know what Jehovah's Spirit says, you that profess to be sons of the living God, you that are there in the organization, you will know that Jehovah God is saying everything that they've done is wrong. You are my sons. You must prophesy against them. As I sent my prophets, as I sent my apostles, as I sent all my servants in ancient days, and those who were killed in modern days. The villain is among you. One very important thing, you that are there, that are sons of the living God, if you profess sons of the living God, do understand this. I'm going to the book of John, chapter 3.
verse 6 through 8, where Jesus is speaking to Nicodemus. There, this is what he says. What has been born from the flesh is flesh, and what has been born from the Spirit is spirit. Do not marvel because I tell you, you people must be born again. The wind blows where it wants to, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from and where it is going. So is everyone that is born from the Spirit. You sons that are there in the organization, do you know your Father's Spirit? Realize that no man can dictate over your faith or tell you where to go and how to implement Jehovah God's policies. It doesn't work that way according to Jesus. You are moved by Spirit, like the wind. You don't know where you're going, but the Spirit moves you. If you understand Romans chapter 8, then you will realize and understand this, what that impelling is. All who are led by God's Spirit are God's sons. It's not just given to a few, 8 or 10 men. You have one master, that is the Lord Jesus Christ, and you have one Father, that is Jehovah God of celestial armies. You elders who do understand and know about this and know about what happened regarding the United Nations Association, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society's involvement as an NGO, if you do not tell the others and you do not tell the other kings, the elders, you are just as responsible for blood guilt. You are just as responsible as those traitors and those that committed treason against the kingdom. You are no different from them. And you elders who do know about it now, do something and do the right thing for all to know. Because the beast is still present, as we read in Revelation. It is still there, dangerously there. And to you who infiltrated Jehovah's residence and blasphemed it, Jehovah's anger and fire is going to blaze against you now. You, the United Nations, and all of its agencies, including governments. You're next, after Jehovah's nation has been judged and executed. Again, we know how you work. We know how you work. We have it all here, your whole system grid of how you work and how Satan's system grid works. You're going to be exposed. There was no worry. During the last 10 years, letters have been sent to you, to governments, across the globe, to world leaders and to the United Nations. The sons have done it, sending you warnings such as this of what's coming to you. These warnings from Jehovah God, it's coming to you, and it's going to come swiftly. The kingdom will not be stifled. The kingdom will not be shut down. The kingdom will come back and rise up to power. And so will the sons. They will rise again, like an insurmountable army, backed by Jehovah God's Spirit, backed by Jehovah of armies. fear will enter the evil ones, the true evil ones. You worshippers of Baal, you worshippers of Molech, you worshippers of the owl. Jehovah God's kingdom will rule, and your plans for a new world order will dissipate in the wind like a fart in the wind.